Welcome to Collab Conversations with the American Diabetes Association and Beyond Type 1. I'm Ginger Vieira, and joining me today is Dr. Marlon Pragnell, who is the Vice President of Research and Science at the ADA. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thank you.
So I'd love to pick your brain about diabetes complications and what causes them, and of course, what we can do to prevent them as well.
Diabetes complications occur as a result of high blood glucose, high blood sugar. So, if a person is diagnosed with diabetes, their blood glucose sugar, the key thing is the blood glucose sugar is increased, right? And that sugar actually damages the cells in the body. They're different, they damage them in different ways. Primarily, we think of, the damage could be more, we're thinking about blood vessels get damaged, nerves get damaged, and so on. And that could lead to a number of different issues in different parts of the body. For example, first of all, you could think of kidney disease, for example, kidney damage. High blood glucose can lead to kidney damage. The kidneys have this complex filtering blood, releasing all the, getting rid of all the things that you don't need in the blood, kind of retain things you do need. The kidneys are incredibly important organs to keep ourselves in balance, and high blood glucose actually damages the kidney and makes it less able to kind of create a filter. Actually, the filter breaks down. Yeah. And what you see actually, one of the key kind of features of kind of seeing whether you have damage to your kidneys is that they start to become less good filters. So for example, what normally goes through the kidney and comes back to the body actually starts going out of the body. You pee it out. So you can see, like, for example, protein leaking through and coming out in your urine. Like, for example, a person could, if you go to pee and all of a sudden you see lots of bubbles in the water, for example, that's like lots of protein coming out. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's like bubbles in the water because the amount of protein that comes out. So the thing is that the high blood sugar can damage your kidneys, and really, and the challenge with kidney is actually this is invisible. Actually, one of the complications that people know least about, they hear about it, but they really don't really understand, is kidney complications. Because what happens is the kidneys, it's in our body. We don't really know where, a lot of people know where they are, but not really that much about them. We hear about them. But kidney complications occurs very, very slowly, and all of a sudden, then after a number of years, it gets really bad. Right, and then to the point where you might have to go on dialysis. All that can be prevented. I think the numbers are, for example, with in terms of the number of people with diabetes, like 30% of people with diabetes here in the States have some level of kidney damage.
Oh, wow.
Some level. That's not really serious in kind of early stages, right. But people are on some stage of kidney damage because of the high blood sugar. You want to avoid that. And the best way to avoid that, obviously, is to kind of better manage your glucose levels, right? But what we're seeing, though, is that as the higher we go in glucose levels, the more damage to the kidneys, and more the rapid progression to kidney failure, kidney damage. That can all be avoided by improving glucose management.
Okay, so we have kidney disease.
Eye disease. So we have eye disease, right? So thing about eye disease, again, the same thing, sugar, high blood glucose can damage your eyes, and it damages, because, so as I mentioned, the kidney, sugar damages blood vessels, also damage nerves as well. Over time, what can happen is that the blood vessels in the eye can kind of get weak and damage and start to kind of bulge and almost like a leak as well. And that can create damage in the back of the eye, and then also because the body is always trying to compensate for damage, you can also start getting new blood vessels forming in the eye, and that creates further problems where that can lead to detached retina, for example, things like that. So yeah, the eye is a very sensitive area. There's certain parts of the body that are more susceptible than others to complications. So for example, another part for nerves is your hands and your feet, right? Because the high blood glucose damages the nerves there. You can start the nerves then start to stop conducting information that well. And so you might have a situation where you might not feel your feet that well. You might have reduced sensation, and and also blood vessels as well can reduce the healing of ulcers. You can damage your toes, not even know you've damaged them, for example. And so for that, obviously, if you have that at that stage, you want to make sure that you look care of your feet and so on. But again, the same thing comes all back to delaying these complications by again controlling or managing your blood sugar. Another thing too is I talked about nerves. You can have nerves at the periphery in your hands and your feet, but we also have nerves in your body, in your torso, right? We have nerves that control your intestines, your gut, your digestion.
Yeah.
So when you eat food, for example, have the nerves are also very much involved in kind of propelling food through the intestinal tract, moving it along. If you have nerve damage or a modification through high blood glucose, those don't work as well. Right. So you don't really get this kind of nice regular passage of food through the intestines. It gets blocked up, slowed, and that can make it difficult for diabetes because a lot of times when you're managing your blood glucose, you want to kind of plan around giving yourself insulin around mealtime and so if you don't have that kind of like regular kind of guaranteed flow of food through the intestines, then it's difficult to kind of decide on how much insulin you need to give yourself.
Right. And so going back a little bit to the cause of complications and high blood sugars, we know through decades of research that maintaining an A1C below 7% can generally prevent or hugely delay the development of most diabetes complications.
Definitely. And actually, one thing that's interesting is that keeping a low A1C is critically important. But one thing that's surprising is that each increase in percentage of A1C has such an increasing risk of complications. It's like almost exponential. It's not linear. It actually gets worse and worse and worse and worse the higher you go. So if you target like 7% ideally or lower, you will be largely reducing risk of complications. But every percentage point you go above that, you start to kind of increase your risk of kidney damage, increase of eye damage, and cardiovascular disease as well. I mean, I haven't even mentioned that. I mean, cardiovascular disease is such a big deal right now, and we kind of understand more and more about it. At every step of the way of diabetes, every time you're able to better manage your glucose levels, you're taking a huge step towards delaying progression of complications, whether it be retinopathy, whether it be nephrotic kidney disease, whether it be cardiovascular disease. But wherever you are in your state of diabetes, you can do something about it. And I've been involved in this complications research for many years now, and it's great to see the new therapies and so on out there, like drugs that can help protect the kidney and so and all very exciting. But if I think of the most potent drug you can use, it's all that diet, exercise, improved lifestyle at every stage of the diabetes journey. Right. And what's good is you don't need to do this alone either. Right. I mean, you look at our website. First of all, if you think you're at risk, or just take our diabetes risk test, for example. But then we have so much information on how you can find support to kind of prevent, to help to develop healthy lifestyles. So critical. I mean, I think that coming back to that whole thing I said before, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And people have so much in there, what they can do, what you can do, people can do to kind of prevent progression of diabetes at whatever stage they're at.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Pragnell, for digging deeper into complications and how much we can do to protect ourselves.
Great, thank you.